O my Lord, save my nation, save my nation, save my nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, it's been quite a long time since I've been uploading, and I do apologize for that. Lots of things have been happening. Well, life has been happening, really. But I do make a promise that inshallah, binillah ta'ala, going forward, I will be trying my best to upload regularly on the channel. And inshallah, that will hopefully be the case going forward. How do I know that? Well, that's the purpose of this video. I'm going to be introducing a new series that will be featuring in a lot of my videos going forward. So many of my previous videos have largely been about Islamic studies, studying the Islamic sciences. What does traditional Islamic studies look like? The importance of Islamic studies, right? But again, a lot of these have been very abstract. They've been very theoretical, right? And it's kind of hard to be able to connect to that on a practical level, right? So that's the purpose of this series, inshallah, to be able to really bridge that gap and see what are the practical implications and significance of studying the traditional Islamic sciences and working towards mastery of the Islamic sciences. So in that case, I thought it'd be good to go through a formal text that addresses all of this, right? And inshallah, that will be the aim of this series, and not only to look at the importance of Islamic studies and a lot of the similar things that I've looked at in previous videos, but also to really get a sense of what traditional Islamic studies is all about. So I have with me here a copy of the text that we'll be studying, titled al-Muta'allim tariqatu ta'allum, right? It can roughly translate to guidance for the student, the path to instruction, right? It's all about, you could say it's providing a pedagogical framework, establishing a pedagogical framework for a sound Islamic education. What does that look like? What does it mean? What are the implications of that? These are the kind of questions we'll be going through in and around this series, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. So first things first, to introduce the author a little bit. It's written by a author named Imam Burhanuddin al-Islam Imam Ahmad al-Zarnuji. Right. Now he lived in a town named Zarnuj, which is in roughly around about today's Kazakhstan. He trained under many scholars, one of them being the renowned Hanafi jurist Ali bin Abi Bakr al-Marghinani, who was also given the kunya of Burhanuddin. He's also the author of the renowned advanced treatise of Hanafi law, that of the Hidayah. Imam Zarnuji's exact death date is unknown, but it's speculated that he died roughly around 620 Hijri, which equates to about 1223 of the Christian era. So this text I mentioned, Guidance for the Student, it's a very short treatise, and you can kind of see mine here, obviously it depends on the print. Mine here is a pamphlet, essentially, right, a very small booklet. It was a gift, actually, from a very dear teacher of mine. Allah bless and preserve them. But you can get, different editions. It all depends on what edition you buy and the print, etc. But all in all, it's a very brief book, right? It's not that dense at all, Alhumdulillah. And as I mentioned earlier, he's really trying to establish a sound pedagogical framework for Islamic studies, traditional Islamic studies. And that, as I mentioned, that raises questions like, what does that look like? What does it mean? What are the implications of it? What are the results of this framework when it's actualized in the endeavor to acquire knowledge and study the traditional Islamic sciences? It's quite impressive in the sense that its benefit is universal, essentially, right? What do I mean by that? I mean by that is that it benefits everyone, from the most basic level student, who's like the novice of all novices, you could say, all the way to the most seasoned veteran scholars and teachers, right? Who still require some areas of guidance and clarification, or things that they necessarily haven't applied in their own teaching, so to speak. Okay, so being a short work, it's broken down into 13 short chapters. Each chapter is roughly about 3.5 pages long. Again, it's not a very dense work, right? It's introductory work. It's a preliminary work, you could say, right? That gives you guidance on how to properly study and master the intellectual sciences, how to get the most out of seeking knowledge. And so in that regard, it's benefit for yourself as viewers, and also for myself as a student of the Islamic sciences, as we collectively strive to better understand our religion, our deen, and implement these pearls of wisdom. So we have the Muqaddimah, which is an introduction. There's a preliminary section introducing the text, its layout, structure, its scope, objectives, and what you can expect to get out of it. Then we have chapter 1, which is on the essence and virtue of knowledge and understanding, right? ماهية العلم والفقه والفضل, right? Then we have chapter 2, which is the intention and purpose of study, النية في الحال التعلم, right? Then we have chapter 3, the choices in learning, الاختيار العلم. Then we have chapter 4, which is veneration of knowledge and its people, تعظيم العلم وأهله. Then we have chapter 5 on conviction, perseverance, and diligence, جدي والمواظبة والهمة. Then we have chapter 6 on the beginning of study, its quantity, its composition, في بداية السبق وترتيبه وقدره. Then we have chapter 7, reliance on Allah Azza wa Jal, tawakkul, the idea of tawakkul, a universal concept found within our tradition. Then chapter 8 we have وقت التحصيل, which translates to the time for the acquisition of knowledge. And chapter 9 deals with shafaqa and nasiha, helpfulness and good counsel. Then chapter 10 we have al-istifada, right? Beneficial means in the attainment of knowledge. Then chapter 11 deals with abstinence in the pursuit of knowledge, al-wara' fi hal al-ta'allum. Then we have chapter 12, memorization and forgetfulness, فيما يورث الحفظ وفيما يورث النسيان. Memorization and forgetfulness. It's a pretty literal translation. And then last but not least we have فيما يجلب الرزق وما يمنعه وما يزيد في العمر وما ينقص, which deals with a person's provision and lifespan, right? A person's life experience, so to speak. So that's a pretty it's a pretty again, it's not very dense, it's a pretty well-rounded outline of the text. It's practical, it's beneficial, but it also deals with certain spiritual aspects as well, and we'll probably be able to deduce those from lessons like trusting in Allah Azza wa Jal, increasing the increase or decrease of a person's provision and lifespan, and so to speak. How does that connect to the endeavor to seeking knowledge? So that's a lowdown on what you can expect to see in the series, and inshallah bi'idhnillah ta'ala, in the next video I'll be kicking things off with the introduction. So how it will work is we'll read the Arabic, I'll provide a brief translation, and then there'll be some preliminary discussions and comments and some advice that we can all benefit from, inshallah bi'idhnillah ta'ala. If there's anything you feel I've left out or have not mentioned, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. I've also set up my Instagram and TikTok pages. You can find them down in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content coming very soon. And as always, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.